Coming up today on Locked On Texas Tech, dismantling UCF and saying adios to a group of seniors, all exactly according to the script.
You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network. Your team every day, always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts with the only Chris Level. I'm Casey Cowan, and today's reaction episode brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Great to be back with you, Chris, on the heels of your final go-round regular season-wise from Jones AT&T Stadium as the Red Raiders down UCF with extreme prejudice. And it went just about the exact way that you would like to script it out. We'll get into a lot of, obviously, what the game involved between the lines and maybe who you were also able to get outside the lines pretty quickly after some time. We were thinking a lot about the quarterback and how many snaps were there for Baron Morton going into the weekend. I liked a lot of what we wound up getting. We'll also get into, of course, what we felt as we said goodbye to so many of these seniors that have been so impactful, Chris, and I want to get to that list of names that we had a chance to celebrate at the Jones as well. And also in general, want to get to what went down at the Jones this year, the opponent, as you restored truly. And I don't think this is the season that you did as far as the initial wave. You restore your home field advantage, but it was truly domination just about any way you look at it in the friendly confines this season. Definitely worth celebrating. But overall, Chris, as I said, I think the script mirrored very much so what we were asking for and hoping for almost from start to finish as you take care of the Knights.
And it rarely works that way. Sometimes the other guy doesn't want to cooperate, or you don't want to cooperate with. Hey, man, I need to talk to my agent. I need to rewrite this script. I don't like the line that that you gave me here. But no, this was a very boring day unless you were wearing red and black. But guess what? You and I were wearing yesterday. It was. Yeah, I just don't think UCF wanted any part of that. I think they're beat up. They come in a bad spot, but you did exactly what you were supposed to do. And you started – I mean, it's just like you just checked pretty much every single box. And short of giving up a touchdown and a safety, which I don't know if that was a correct call or not, but it just was – it was, perfect. I thought the fast start, you could definitely tell there was an intention with the offense. Like, okay, we're tired of hearing about this stuff, tired of being asked about red zone stuff, foot on the gas, and you got up. But getting your quarterback out before halftime, I mean, and just to give you an idea, UCF had not given up 35 points in a game all year. This was I think they were the 29th ranked defense in the country. They were only giving up, I think, 321 yards a game. And we told you about those two defensive ends, and they looked the part. They kind of were questionable most of the week. Both of them were. Najalik Kelly and Malachi. I'm trying to remember his last name. 51 and 9 were the two numbers. But you had 35 points before halftime, at some point in the second quarter. And then obviously, he eclipsed that to 38 or added to that. But having Mitch Griffiths come in at the end and of the first half, I was like, this is just almost too much for me to, take in here. It's just happening exactly like we wanted it to, like exactly. And we have everybody around here has suffered a lot. And you've been frustrated. It's been no fun. It's been, you're so close. And it was just fun to have a day kind of a stress-free, just get to sit back and enjoy some nice weather and watch your team just take apart a conference opponent at home when you needed to. you had some things that you really needed to get done and needed to work on if you want to really get technical with it. We'll talk about that tomorrow, but the main thing was getting number 2 out. And the best thing that Joey said to me after the game was, so I asked him going to the halftime, I don't even ask a question. He just looks at me. He goes, Jacob Rodriguez. Like, yeah. I mean, he goes, that's my answer. I don't know what you're going to ask me, but that's my answer. I'm like, yeah. And I said, man, pretty much perfect start. And I was like, Mitch Griffiths looks pretty good out there. And he goes, well, he's a good athlete. What'd you expect? And he was kind of like trying to be funny about it. And I said, no doubt. And he's like, and by the way, stop worrying. Everything's okay with Barron. So it was just, that was what was on his mind, is his linebacker and accomplishing a few goals that they'd had going into this game. And it's not something I would guess that you're even talking about. Okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start really fast. We're going to put the foot on the gas, and we're going to pull away from these guys, and then we can start taking people out. I mean, in the back of your mind, sure.
Yeah.
But this is what was playing out, and watching so many guys come out of the game just to be safe and as precautionary and like getting your backups in, it was just chef kisses, man. I mean, I was just and on senior day, no less. And we need to get to that as well.
Yeah, I think, Coach McGuire's coming so well-trained in these halftime conversations. Maybe you just kind of hand him the mic and save yourself the steps. You just let him sort of take off on a monologue in the future. But some repeat topics of conversation, no doubt. And I do want to get further on our next episode into the Jacob Rodriguez campaign in general. But obviously that was one of the huge early ovations when he gets into the end zone, Chris. But I got to tell you, from the booth, I was given just as big of an ovation to see Barron Morton to the sideline, Mitch Griffiths into the ball game. And there's no way you can approach a work day feeling like, all right, I'm getting off early, so I'm coasting through these hours, and have those hours actually be what you want them to be, whether in real life or on a college football Saturday. So, yeah, you don't want to necessarily be just spending a lot of time in conversation about how soon everybody can get out of the game as you're going through the week, but it's on everybody's mind, obviously unsaid, particularly with your quarterback. So, yeah, that was as exciting as anything to me to see the entry of Mitch Griffiths into the ball game. But very intentional early on offensively. Ground game was working. And eventually, overall, you really just broke it open. I thought by land or air, Texas Tech, like you said, just checking all kinds of offensive boxes.
Well, when you run for over 200 and the other guy, let me check this. They ran for 52 yards. I mean, it's you quadruple what one guy is doing in the run game compared to what you're limiting the other guy to. It's just you're going to win a lot of football games, but you just kind of you kind of have large in part done what you've done all year. Blew a team out, ran it well, didn't allow much from the opposing run game. And then there's going to be a little spurt here or there that you've got some issue with, but it's just large in part. It was just pretty much a perfect day at the Jones, man. And again, I hate to that seems so simple to say that, but there's just not many of those, especially when you factor in the context. These are must wins here, okay? And we'll get to that tomorrow on kind of what it looks like about your next game. But you had to hold serve, and there's a lot of letdown talk. I heard some of it on Big Noon and College Game Day and all that stuff. Is like, okay, now they got to go validate it. It was all this stuff last week, and
one of the biggest parties in the history of the school,
and your city. Yes, and your city, and then you've got to go validate it, and you did exactly that. And we keep wanting to say to ourselves all this history, and it's like I'm just waiting for somebody to pull the rug out and all these things. But this team is very different, man. This team is absolutely different, and defensively they just didn't let UCF get to much at all. We thought Davy Balfour would start this game. That's kind of what the thought was. He's the one that finished the last game versus Houston for them. They ended up starting Taven Jackson. who they had taken out of the previous game because of a hamstring issue, Taven Jackson, and it was pretty clear like there was two different offenses being run here.
Yeah.
They wanted to be able to throw it some, and they just don't. It's pretty clear they just don't trust Balfour to be able to do that yet. He's a true freshman. He's a dual threat, but he's the runner and all that. But Jackson just gave him the best chance to throw the football, and so they were in a bit of a pickle. But you just continue to put pressure on them. But like your pass rush, I thought Cole Wisniewski was exceptional again in the open field with his tackling. It's just unbelievable what he does, and I'm sure nobody enjoyed the outcome more than Lee Hunter. Although, and there was some playful trash talk, I think, back and forth last week. I think one of the UCF offensive linemen, he's like, I can't wait to kick his ass on Saturday. But there was none of that. I think it was all in jest, and it was kind of like they just, Lee kind of. He will chirp a bit, but again, as we've said, man, the fridge feeds everybody, and everybody got to eat because of what's going on in the interior there. I guess in a sentimental way, and I want to talk about the senior day part and just kind of this whole thing coming together, but in a sentimental way, I really appreciated.
First, today's episode brought to you by FanDuel, and football is in full force, and FanDuel's keeping you stocked with action every game day with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet only $5, and if your bet hits, you're getting $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. Any way you like it, FanDuel has you covered. Quick, easy, and secure every time. If you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
Sentimental way, I really appreciated. It was still when the game was semi-competitive. Duda Banks coming in there in a regular rotation, making a tackle. A.J. McCarty made a play at one point. Some of these guys that are upperclassmen and seniors in these two cases that just haven't gotten to play a ton because of the kind of team that they're on. And I enjoyed them getting to play their last regular season home game and show up too. Because if you remember back, last time UCF was here, you win that game by 1 point. And it was because of a blocked extra point by Duda Banks. And I was just glad, and he probably hasn't gotten to play as much, and McCarty hasn't gotten to play as much as they wanted to this point. But it's just because of what's in front of them, and it's just worked so beautifully.
Yeah, you got to remember, obviously, what that looks like frontline wise, but still seeing these guys contribute from a rotation standpoint is why you feel so good about your depth in so many areas. So. It's not like, they're off the radar by any means. And we've already seen in the case of Skylar Gill-Howard how quickly things can change. And then some of your depth really gets called on and really gets challenged. I think Duda had a sack also on the day. So it was really good to see a lot of guys taking a turn at the wheel and making plays. And we've kind of seen that some of these weekends, Chris, where we talk about everybody got a piece of the pie as far as who is contributing to this win. And on a day where, once again, offensively, you're really checking a lot of boxes. We're seeing some wild wrinkles. I mean, it's making me think about our tweaks conversation last week as we're watching Reggie Virgil dominate the Big 12 rushing scene on Saturday and some others. So that was a lot of fun to see. But I'll tell you as well, it ain't lost on me how accustomed I'm getting to just a casual 45er, maybe a 55er, whatever it might be, from what should be Lou Groza candidate Stone Harrington. I mean, just another day for Stone.
Yeah, what was it, a 45 and a 53-yarder? I think he's 18 of 21 this year. He's got 3 field goals of 50-plus made on the season. He's become a bit of a weapon for you, and it's not really been dramatic, right? It's not. There's no drama when your kicker goes out there. And I just wish more knew of his personal story to get to. I mean, he's just really a dues payer. And like, this is not really what it, and I think that Upton was essentially brought in here. We can say competition, we can say this. I think he was brought in here to be the kicker, and Stone, I guess, has outlasted him and beaten him out. And this was one of the rare situations with your portal class where, I think Ponton and Stone Harrington were like, no, Like, I mean, I'm playing. I'm going to push my way to the front. It took Stone a bit longer than it took Ponton, but portal class be damned. They just they forced their way into being able to play. But yeah, Harrington has just been one of many storylines this season. That because if we would have just, when we were wondering about stuff in the summer, you're worried about your O-line, you're worried about red zone stuff. You wondered if the schemes would be, but kicker was on the list of like, okay, it's kind of a question until it's not, and I just don't think it is anymore. So,
and I almost guarantee you, even though we've stretched our legs so much on the scoreboard this season, you are going to have some pucker up tighter than a snare drum moments if you're lucky enough to get into the playoff or into the Big 12 title game, and you're going to need guys like Stone Harrington in clutch moments to deliver. And I feel a lot of confidence that he's going to be capable of doing that. Chris, I mean, we're talking boxes checked, and I don't feel like, as I already said, this was the year necessarily that Joey McGuire did it for the first time or anything like that. But when he arrived, we talked about, all right, what's sort of the steps to progress for the program look like? And there are various things on the list. One of those being really restore a home field advantage to Jones Stadium. I felt like he was cooking in that area before this year even, so I don't want to act like this is a new thing, but it was domination in the LBK all season long. So we cannot ignore the ride that the hometown fans have been on, because it's just been a party every weekend. And I got to tell you, Coach, I'm getting accustomed to it. So you're going to set a standard here that we're going to need repeated. No easy feat. But, man, how much fun has that been?
Was one of the first things I think he said at his press conference when he got this job. We've got to win at home. You all deserve it. It's important if we want to get to where we want to go. This is like a must. He always has his plan to win in these games. You know, it's an 8-point deal that they look at before and then after the game and go, okay, well, we won 5 of the 8, and there you go. We won the game. But I think getting to where they wanted to go and trying to get to Arlington and all those things, it just had to come with winning your games at home. And then you've got to go, obviously, do some damage on the road as well. But 7-0 at home, I don't think you gave up, like on average, I think you gave up less than 10 points a game at home. I think that's an all-timer for you. I don't know if anybody wants to go back and look, at years and years and years gone by, but it's certainly in the last 3 or 4 decades. That's unheard of. But yeah, you gave up on average like something like 9 points a game at home and change. But that's just crazy. But I credit the PA announcer. I credit the environment. I credit the red smoke. I credit Section 115. I see you. Cowan saw you. We all saw you. It's just everybody has a good time, and I'm sorry the smoke hangs around a little bit longer than some prefer it to. I personally love it. I wish there was more.
We found the cure to West Texas wind, Chris. We didn't know it. Just release a ton of smoke and it dies down.
That's right. I love it. But it's like this red haze, man.
I love every time the television broadcast comes back from commercial to start the 4th. And if you're watching at home, you're like, what the hell is going on? An apocalyptic scene.
And I think one of the TV commentators, I think he used the term ridiculous, with it. But yeah, I got no time for that.
Not worried about it.
Yeah, exactly. Not worried about it. I inject it into my veins. It's hard to get people to go to games, okay, just in general, no matter the sport or where you are in the country and all that, just because there's, everything's on TV, this and that. But when you go, there's just things you get to experience and be a part of, and like energy and an event and all those things that I think Texas Tech's done a phenomenal job of just creating this deal. Basketball game is the same way. I mean, there's just things that you miss when you're not there, that this feeling that you just get. But I really enjoyed, though, the entirety of the home schedule, just because you're right. It was just fun for everybody. The people that got tickets and that were at these games, they walked away happy, and that's all Joey McGuire wanted. And And you really had to again to do this to get to where you're trying to go, and you're not there yet. But 7-0 at home, man, pretty damn salty. And I feel like the fans also with the defensive aspect of like, hey, get up on like be help. I think that there's been a lot of standing up when this defense runs out there, and the decibel meter, the whole deal, and haven't had a tortilla issue in weeks. That seems like buried and moved on and gone after that was such a thing early on in the season. And so, kudos to the fan base, kudos to the marketing and the pomp and circumstance folks as well, because it's just been a fun year at home for sure.
Yeah, I'd try to shout out some names, but I'd miss 100. So I'll just say
I know, and I'm with you.
That because it is it's a full squad. It's an army.
People have no idea how many people are involved in that deal either.
6,000 that show up and contribute as well. And this is, the reality is this is a year too where you really had to carry the load. There was not an opponent on your home schedule that was going to be bringing anybody to the gates just due to the
rain delays, multiple. All of it. Yeah.
And looking forward to plenty more, obviously, to come. But, yeah, glad that you have really restored an edge to the Jones. And, Chris, before we get out of here, of course, I want to spend a little bit of time thinking about that class of seniors that got celebrated and honored. And we know how it goes nowadays whenever it comes to decisions being made and things like that. So I don't want to get bogged down in all that stuff just yet. We got plenty of time to get bogged down in decision time on upcoming episodes. But man, was a perfect way to send off some of these guys in a sense, as far as their home careers were concerned. My players of the game, players to watch going into the day, Chris. I had, I believe, Cameron Dickey, Lee Hunter, Mitch Griffiths, check, and Debbie McGuire, as it was probably her biggest day of the year. 20-plus senior day hugs to hand out. That in part, Chris, because I remember Coach McGuire talking to early last week saying this day is really kind of hard on the missus because she cares so deeply about all these guys. But sometimes sad to see them go, but man, what a way to send them off.
Yeah, and that's a whole big topic here that there's been a lot said and written about.
First, today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly feel the call of the stadium. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. And with the money you save on tickets, you can then splurge on foods, drinks, gear, and more. Gametime makes it all possible. And best of all, Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get the first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. And if you're like me, you get tired of endless scrolling trying to find the best deal, and that's why Gametime's Zone Deals is the go-to move, since it automatically picks the best seats in your section for you at the best price. And as always, you can get a view from your seat right there in the app. So before you buy, you know exactly what you're going to see. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use our code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked On College, for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets at the lowest price, guaranteed.
That's a whole big topic here that there's been a lot said and written about your program and what you've done and what you've put together and how you got to this point and all these things, right? We've seen all that. But if you really want to know how people feel, ask some of these seniors that have been around here a bit, whether it's 1 year or 5, ask their parents how they were treated here. But because when you sign up to come here in this era and this under this head coach, you do, man. You get a head coach that's just an unbelievable man that is going to be the same all the time. Yes, he's going to get pissed at you. He's going to coach you hard. But, man, is he going to love you, and is he going to be positive all the time, and is he going to make it fun? But you also get his wife, and she because there's a lot of head coaches that do these senior days, and it's just them kind of going hand to hand, shaking hands and all that stuff. But you absolutely get Debbie with this, and she's a part of this as much as anybody. She wears the emotions when things are going well or when they're not as much as anybody. She is 1,000% all in. She is a special person that is a perfect fit with her husband, and they're just the best couple to represent not just a football program, but kind of a city and be the face of what you're trying to do here. And she does feel it, and she does get attached, and that's what you want. And it does make days like, yesterday hard when you say bye to essentially kind of an extended family like your kids, right? And you feel like you're in it with them. But after it was over, and I'm back there in the tunnel, she's going to kill me for saying this, but she's like, there's a group of us, and I'm waiting to interview Joey for radio and stuff, and she's like, you're 10-1, and you're 10-1, and you're 10-1, and she's like, I'm so happy for you, and I'm like, but that's just who she is, man, and it just speaks to. This is the beautiful part. This is one of the hardest things to achieve in sports. Okay. Really in life, I guess. It doesn't matter really whatever you try to do for a living or whatever, but this is one of the hardest things to ultimately achieve. Consistency is one. That is one thing, and that's one of the hardest things. But even harder, in my opinion, is realized potential. So think about it from this standpoint. These people had a dream when they came here to turn this thing around, felt like this was where they were supposed to be. Other people poured into it, bought into that vision, and were willing to invest into not just with their resources, but the people that they're investing in. Because who Debbie and Joey are is as big a reason why people wanted to pour into this thing as much as anybody, because it's like, this could work. Like, but if they need our help to do this, and this is a team, and again, more work to be done, but I just don't know if anybody could look at what you've put together when you hired Joey 4 years ago, and then look at it now with what you try to put together with this team and say, it didn't work. That's you can squash that. I just think that whatever happens going forward, this is what you envisioned and dreamed of and all that, but it's just because of the way these two people and their energy, their belief, their positivity, all the stuff. And I mean, again, ask some of these seniors or their parents how they were treated here or what their experience was in this program. And yes, winning helps, but ask them how they were treated even after, like, you lose a game or when they got hurt. Because so many guys have gotten hurt and just, that part needed to be said, but on a senior day, it does suck watching. I'm like, damn, man, like there's a lot of good players lined up on this field.
That's what I'm thinking when I'm reading the list. Holy
I'm
cow.
like, God dang. I mean,
all the production.
Lee, David, Romello, Rodriguez, Morton, Virgil, on and on. I'm going to forget, but it's just John Carlos. I mean, it's just so many. It's a lot to try to replace. Maybe you won't have to replace Reggie Virgil. We'll see. Stay tuned. But
a lot of that. But
yeah, that's right. But yeah, I just I love those people, man. I mean, they're and it's a staff full of. Because I got to see Patty and Lawrence Skuvanek on the field before the game, and they are enjoying this as much as anybody, and Patty watches this show, and like there, she's a part of this. That's the first lady of the university, for those that don't know. She is, but they, and I'll tell you something funny. I had no intention of doing this, but, Cowan, you don't even know this. My I didn't screw up. I tried to let her live her life, but my daughter just wanted to get away from home and all that. And she went to Oklahoma State. And so I thought my son may do the same thing. But last week, my son decided that this is where he wanted to be.
Let's go.
And President Skuvanek had a lot to do with that, and I wanted to thank him. But it's about these experiences and what's going on with this athletic program right now. That's what I think, and this is the whole point of exactly what they all were trying to do. It creates a vibe and some energy, and it's like kids are attracted to it, and they want to be a part of it. So not going to be shocked to see your enrollment numbers continue to go up and up because of which was the entire point of it. Yes, you wanted to win and all that, but yeah, my man Luke Level, I do have a Red Raider, and I'm thrilled about that. I feel like I didn't fail as a parent totally. And my daughter wouldn't change a thing. She actually, you would appreciate this too. She texted me in the middle of the game, in the middle of the broadcast, because I sent her the picture of the shirtless dudes, because that started at Oklahoma State, and she said she's roots for Tech and roots for her dad all the time, but she said that's the one thing that's the only thing that Texas Tech has ever copied from Oklahoma State. So she got it. She I appreciated that because she was even willing to admit that the old Xerox U and all that. But yeah, so to sum it all up, I just so many people have gotten you to this point, and 10 wins, man, that's rare around here. And a lot of people didn't think you would achieve that. A lot of people were waiting for you to fall on your face. But and again, still more work to be done, but felt pretty good walking out of that building on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, I guess. And 10-1 is that's heavy steps, Patsy.
I don't that's potential realized, and that's beyond where I expected. I'm saying 9-3 coming into the year.
I do, yeah.
Living a luxurious life at this point in time, well beyond where I thought you would wind up, still with the prize that you're actually after out there to be captured. So we all know what it's about. We'll be back to some Arlington conversation this week, and of course getting the lay of the land across the Big 12 after another weekend gone by on tomorrow's episode. Also want to get more into, of course, the Jacob Rodriguez story, which was amply celebrated on Saturday, no doubt about that, even in a new kind of way. So I want to get to that as well, Chris, and also some of the boxes checked maybe in light of some college football playoff demands. Mac Rhodes, or whoever's in this seat now, are you not entertained? We'll get to that on an upcoming episode, but yeah, shout out to Coach McGuire and the misses as well. And of course, it takes all those guys on the field to make the vision really come to life. And you're thinking about some of those seniors that have been here for an extended period of time that embody the brand or that culture that set the standard. But I'm also thinking about those newcomers as well, Chris, when I'm mentioning names like Lee Hunter or Romello Hyde or David Bailey or so many others that have been added, yet I think really themselves embodied what you wanted your culture to be about. Whether they already did or they came to it, I don't know. But how quickly you're able to make that possible with some newcomers is just still a fascinating part of this story, and hopefully something that continues, because you're going to be trying to do that again, I know.
Yep, because so many of these guys that were in a one-year scenario here, I think they would all, I think it's 100%. I think they would all tell you they are the best version of themselves that they've ever been. And when you put all that together, you are quite formidable. I mean, it is because so many of these guys, it's the best football I've ever played. I mean, it's the best I've ever been able to do this. I've gotten so much better at this here and all that. So the development, the realized potential, man, don't take it for granted, because it's hard to achieve. And we're staring at a perfect case right in the face right now.
Yeah, no doubt. It wasn't a season that was all about beating UCF. It wasn't a season that was all about getting 10 wins or whatever in the regular season. Those are just things that help you get what it really was all about, or get to what it really was all about. And that's Arlington and a chance to win a Big 12 title, and then see how the dust settles on the other side of that. So looking forward to discussing those things with you this week, Chris. Of course, we got hoops on the way as well. Even though we've got an open football weekend, we're going to be busy here on Locked On Texas Tech. So we hope that you're going to be staying with us for the conversation throughout as we get ready for Morgantown down the way, and plenty of other things to come, college football playoff rankings to digest, etc. So make sure you're subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you don't miss a thing. We appreciate the everydayers for always being out there. And, of course, the Matador Mob. So hit our show notes and find a link to a free 14-day trial. If you're interested in joining that crew, your direct line to Chris and myself with one-on-one text sent straight to your phone. Chris, appreciate the time to react this Sunday. Looking forward to the next one, man. We'll see you then.
Absolutely, man. I enjoyed the ride on Saturday. I would ride that ride again for sure. But we got all week to talk about it. We got a bye week coming up, and it is needed. But we'll get into some of that and some hoops coming up this week and whatnot. But a lot of football still to break down as well.
No doubt. Appreciate your time, Chris, and appreciate everybody's time out there. And as always, we'll see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.